and smiling for good reason, I imagine. Has it dawned on you, Patrick, you are the new Canadian champion?
Yeah, it's slowly seeping in. I'm starting to feel the gold fever right now, so yeah, it's good.
You know, just watching you during your long program, at what point did you feel, I've nailed it, this is really good? Or do you get to that point? Do you actually consciously feel that during the program?
If you saw the video, when I landed that last jump, which was a triple flip, you know, after that, I felt kind of home free. But of course I had a flashback where previously in the season I fell in my last spin actually in my program. So I was really happy I was done and I had done a clean program, but you know, I still had a spin left, so I kept my focus.
Yeah, now you actually had an interesting moment which you handled magnificently. You scraped the boards during the skate, almost got up close and personal with the judges. What was going through your mind at that point?
You know what, because I was so happy, you know, I was almost carried away. The crowd was just so loud that they moved me so much that I completely forgot about the boards. So thankfully I didn't fall down, thank God. So I was really thankful, and it felt great. It was just awesome, unbelievable feeling.
Yeah, you know, it actually even looked like it was part of the program, like an ingenious sort of innovation in the program. Tell me more about what it was like when you were aware of the crowd being so with you. I mean, we could hear it even just in those 23 seconds that we showed, and it almost felt like it just would lift you right up.
I know, they just started so early and I still had 30 seconds left in my program and they're already on their feet, so that was just phenomenal, and you know, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get that chance to really witness that and to be part of it. So to have them do that and giving me a standing ovation at the end was just awesome. It was just so loud. I thought the house was the rink was gonna, the roof was gonna fall down. So it was so loud. Yeah,
it was a really, really thrilling moment, but it was such a thrilling skate. And when you think of it, given that you had a fairly shaky warm-up before the program, how did you make that mental adjustment? Because you must have been a bit frustrated with the warm-up. So how did you then get your mindset in the right place for the actual performance?
Yeah, I had a practice in the morning, a 25-minute warm-up, and the 6-minute warm-up. Both did not go well. I struggled a lot because I'm not used to skating so early in the morning. So I couldn't get the axle going very well. But I got off the ice, and Don, my coach, you know, he said, you know what? He kept reminding me of little tips that, you know, we would think about when I would be practicing the jump, and he kept reminding me again and again of the same tips. And you know what? It's just I just fought through it, and you know, and after that first axle, when I landed it, I was pretty much I was cruising, and you know, everything else came into place and on its own.
Yeah, tell me about some of those little tips. What were some of those little nuggets of advice that he was giving you that really just helped you get past some of the rough stuff?
Yeah, I had a tendency during the practice to really, my shoulders would come around and I would start to rotate before I even elevate. So obviously you need to elevate before you rotate. So you know, he would tell me to bend over the left leg, which was my takeoff leg, and then before even thinking about shooting the right arm through to do the rotation. So I just kept reminding myself of those little things, and it helped.
You know, actually, as you just described some of that, you know, the small but important technical considerations, watching you, it's like poetry in motion. Is there ever a point in your skate where you actually, it's almost, for you it feels like poetry and it's just the pure joy of the moment, or are you always thinking about, yeah, watch that shoulder, don't round, don't elevate prematurely, that kind of thing?
You know, you'd be surprised. For me especially, I try to not think of technique. You know, my coach says think when you're at the boards, but then when you're skating, you know, just everything is on it automatic. You want to have your brain shut off. For me, that helps. I had a tendency of, you know, thinking during the program and talking to myself, you know, saying this wasn't good, blah, blah, blah.
Really?
And yeah, and it really doesn't help. It's like almost discouraging. You're discouraging yourself. So, you know, before each program, I just, you know, go click off the off button on my brain and just let it happen and trust my training. the training just does it for you, like automatically, as long as you know you've trained well, trained hard.
You know, you've just provided so many wonderful moments during the competition, not the least of which is when you hug Jeff Buttle at the end of it. I know that Jeff is a real pal. Do you think that friendship might change in any way? Because, yes, the two of you are now the dynamic duo from Canada on the world stage, but at the same time, you're rivals.
Yeah. I mean, even though I beat him, you know, beating him was just a bonus, really. Either way, if I lost to him or I beat him, we were still good friends, and I always look up to him as our Canadian champion. You know, I mean, he did win nationals, I think 3 titles, and so I really look up to him still, and he's a really good friend, and he's a great role model for all young skaters in Canada.
Yeah, you know, of course, the two of you now set your sights on the Worlds in the spring in Sweden. How neat is that?
It's just awesome. Sweden, I've never been in the Scandinavian countries, so it's going to be so great. You know, I hear it's beautiful, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I reached my goal that I set before nationals, so I'm more than pleased. Yeah,
reached your goal and then some. Do you actually now even start having serious Olympic dreams? I'm sure one competition at a time. I'm sure you're disciplined about that, but are you already thinking, yeah,
I'm
there?
I mean, I would just walk past the countdown clock on my way to the studio, and you know what, it was just awesome to see that, and especially since I won in Vancouver and the exact same rink where the Olympics are going to be held. You know, that's just a great feeling, and then when I go back to that same rink, it's going to feel like home. You know, I won't feel out of place, or I won't feel that newbie kind of rink feel. So I'll feel just like at home. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been a treat to talk to you. Congratulations, and we'll keep watching. Thanks so much for joining us today, Patrick.
Thank you, Nancy.
Take care.
Thanks.
Well, Colleen.